All right. Now that we've talked about debt, we're now going to talk about income. All right. So I want you to think of your income as kind of where you are exactly right now. This is going to be how much you get paid on a bi-weekly or a monthly basis. And there are two things to consider when thinking about future potential incomes. Is you want to think about the mean income versus the median income of an area or of a career field. Okay, so what is mean income? Well, this is the average, and the median income is the middle. Now, I want to make a case right here where a lot of people will typically use the mean income, but I would actually prefer you to use the median income. So let's kind of talk about what is the difference between a mean and a median. Okay, so we said a mean is an average. And so I want y'all to imagine for let's say 5 individuals. Okay, so we've got 5 people. Here's person number 1. And let's say person number 1 is a cashier at Walmart or Old Navy or somewhere, and they're going to make $16,000 a year. And then let's say, okay, well, person number 2 is going to make, let's say that they're just like a kind of standard, let's say they're a firefighter, and they're going to make something like $44,000 a year. And let's say person number 3 is a CEO, and let's say they make $10 million per year. What would you actually have to do to these 3 numbers? Well, so instead of 5, let's go 3. So you're going to add up these 3 numbers, and then to find the average after you add them up, you would divide by 3. So let's go ahead and find out what that would be. Okay, so we have our calculator pulled up, and we're going to go ahead and say, okay, 16,123 plus 44,000 for our firefighter, 123, plus $10 million for our CEO, 123, 123. Okay, and then we'll take this answer, and then we want to take that answer and we want to divide it by 3. And notice that the number that comes out is rather large. We would say that our average income for these 3 people is $3,353,000, $353,333.33. Now I want to ask you, does this seem like a fair representation? We're saying, hey, these 3 people, they're averaging $3 million in income. They must all be pretty good. Well, you can clearly see that this guy and this guy really get left out of this scenario. Okay, well, what about the median? Remember, we said the median is just the middle. Well, in the median case, guys, this firefighter actually just represents the median salary. So it'd say, okay, we've got 3 people, and this guy right here, he makes $44,000, and you can say that for the median, 50% of people are going to make more than him, and on the other side, we could say that 50% of people are going to make less than him. And typically, you would like to use the median because it gives you a better understanding of where most people typically are going to be. Now from here, we also have to talk about the difference between personal income and household income. Okay, so when talking about personal income, well, that's pretty simple. That's just you. Okay, so like let's say your salary is $50,000. It's a nice, modest salary. Okay, that's you. And check it out. You might someday just even live in a house by yourself. Okay, so if you live in a house by yourself, well then that is actually your household income. But traditionally, household income is going to represent more or less when we have more people. Okay, so once again, here's you, and then here is your significant other. Okay, so let's say that you're making $50,000, and let's say that your significant other is making $30,000. Well, then combined, your household income is $80,000. All right, and let's say you have some kids. Okay, I don't know why they're outside. Yeah, they're playing in the yard. All right, but let's say one of your kids actually grows up. They're a little older. Maybe they're 16. they go get a job, and now let's say they're bringing in about $10,000 with a part-time job per year. Well, hey, now your household income between these three has now gone up to $90,000. So understanding the difference between personal income and household income is going to be helpful as well. And the last thing we have to talk about is we have to talk about disparities in income. And lastly, when talking about income, we want to talk about the city that you live in. A lot of people will say, oh, this state has a higher income than this state, or people will say that the country as a whole has this income, but what you would really prefer to do is find out the income for your city. So, for example, San Francisco has, and remember, we're going to be talking about the median income. All right, and in San Francisco, the median income is $79,000. All right, in Dallas, Texas, the median income is going to be $66,300. And lastly, when we go up to Kansas, or Kansas City, I should say, our median income is going to be $59,000. And why is this important to you? Well, because wherever the median salary is higher, you can expect other prices to be higher. You can expect food to cost more. You can expect entertainment to cost more. You can expect traditionally gas to cost more. Whenever the median salary is lower, you would expect all the things around you to be lower as well. Why? Because the price of goods and services are only a reflection towards how much people in your area can pay. So, for instance, if you were in Kansas City and every single car cost, $65,000, well, you wouldn't sell a lot of cars in Kansas. But let's say every car in San Francisco cost $65,000, well, you'd be more likely to buy that. I know that's a ridiculous example, but long story short, your income is really going to be compared to the incomes of people around you when it comes to how much you can buy.